Hello and welcome to another Punters Guide. A little bit quieter than Super Saturday 7 days ago, but it is still a classic weekend. We've got some good action at Newbury as well and some jumpers at Market Rasen to focus on. And like I say, Jason Weaver is joining us once again. Incredible, though, isn't it, Jason? 7 days on. What an absolute incredible weekend we had last weekend. So busy. A little bit quieter to look forward to, though, this Saturday.
Yes, it is a little bit easier. And there's big talk about that last weekend, obviously, with that much racing on, and some of the races possibly not given the time and gravitas that they should do, really. So I think that the race courses are possibly going to change that. And so they've moved or staggered a week here or a week there. So some of the bigger races get that proper build-up.
Yeah, they certainly deserve it. But we've got one standout race on its own this weekend. It is, of course, the classic, the Irish Oaks, and the market suggests it's a one-horse race, isn't it? It's all about Snowfall. She bolted up at Epsom, but can you take that form actually at face value? She won by 16 lengths. Is she really that good?
Yeah, I honestly don't know. I think maybe a very, very good filly, but a brilliant ride combined together. Softish ground, came over to the stand rail, Dettori on board, taking his time. He ended up getting there far too early, and she just opened up for, well, it was nothing short of remarkable, was it? The way that she destroyed the field. Official rating, she's 120, some £15 clear of nicest, £16 clear of divinely. And who was second and third string? None other than Aidan O'Brien's. And if you want to drop one down again, £20 clear of Willow, who also comes from the Aidan O'Brien team. It wouldn't be beyond the realms that we could have a 1, 2, 3, possibly a 1, 2, 3, 4 in the Oak for Aidan. You cannot go against Snowfall. Ryan Moore has been booked, hot off the heels of winning on Japan, of course, one of the flagship horses, and she can just do the double comfortably. What about her for the Arc now? Soft ground. If it came up soft ground, she could be the one. Now that we've seen Hurricane Lane sort of shorten dramatically as far as that big test is concerned.
Yeah, so just a quick word on the Arc. Obviously, you saw Hurricane Lane at the weekend. Impressive performance, always in the right spot as well. But fingers crossed they all get there in one piece because it's building up to be quite a spectacle.
Oh, it'll be an absolute belter. Santa Barbara, she went over, she managed to win over in America, along with Bolshoi Ballet. Hurricane Lane, definitely parked as far as the St. Ledger is concerned for him. That now might be for Alan Kerr. We've got the Derby winner. We'll see what he does the following weekend when he turns up in the King George. It's all warming up. That is going to be spectacular.
Yeah, it certainly is. Looking forward to that. But we've also got the King George next week. See the Derby winner, they are in action as well. But let's focus on Newbury then on Saturday afternoon. Start with the 150, the Stephenson Stakes. And this is an absolute cracker as well. Mixing form lines, you've got the older horses all kind of been beating each other, bumping into each other. Then you've got these 2 3-year-olds down the bottom, moving time. And more interestingly, Derab, who had no chance in the French Derby from his draw.
Yeah, no chance from the draw. He's not an easy conveyance. I don't think there's... it's no mystery that Martin Harley has been given the ride on Enable's brother. He's a little bit of a runoff. He made a good reappearance at Newbury. He then bolted up at headquarters. And yeah, he was still beaten 6 and a bit lengths when 8th in the French Derby. We know how good St. Mark's Basilica is. You're right about all the others. Real World has been put up £14 for that Hunt Cup victory. Nice that Marco Gianni keeps the ride. Of course, he was claiming then. He's now a fully fledged rider, so could be his big horse, if you like. Fox's Towel carries his head in the air. Felix, although he's rated exactly the same on the turf as the all-weather, I think he's slightly better. Their Blue Cup, if they go fast, he can work his way into it. So it's an absolute cracker. I quite like the look of the horse down the bottom, Moving Time. He beat Kamari, admittedly, over shorter at Newmarket, 10 furlongs. Kamari's come out and bolted up at the Royal Meeting. But he was positioned really poorly in the early stages behind Mohafef. And the fact he was still only 5th when the leader fell out the back of the television suggests to me that we haven't quite seen the ceiling of him yet. Moving Time Andrea Azzini for Roger Varian. I think he'll give you a good run for your money.
Yeah, I thought it was between the 3-year-olds as well. A viable weight for age allowance, of course, in that one. Move on to the 225 as well. And this is another 2-mile handicaps. We've got Withholding here, who won this race a couple of years ago. Plenty of all-timers and kind of a couple of relative new kids on the block with Z-Band and Rodrigo Diaz as well.
Yeah, Z-Band, very impressive at Newcastle. That was with the visor on for the first time. A real pet hate of mine is will they back up with the visor on for the second time? Rodrigo Diaz, a little bit unlucky the way the race was run maybe at Kempton, but he's going to be a hold-up performer. His only win up around this trip was over 1.6 miles, where he bolted up one on the bridle at Wolverhampton. Looks as if he will stay. It's whether he gives himself the opportunity to get the trip, i.e. switching off early. He's going to be ridden very much Spencer-esque, isn't he, from the back of the pack? So you know what you're getting before you even go into the contest. The only well-handicapped runner in here I can find is Indianapolis, come down from 100 all the way to 88 for Ian Williams with young David Egan on board. And, you know, Mildenberger didn't turn up. Withhold, absolutely lapped the last twice he's been out on the track this year. Lucky Deal has got loads of ability, gets the visor on for the first time with Holly on. He's ran here on 3 occasions. 2 of them have been up around this trip, and he's been absolutely lapped at this track at Newbury. So whether it doesn't suit him or not, I don't know. I'll ask you the question, did Just Hubert run a fair race up at Newcastle in the Pitman's Derby, considering Graham Lee went for that early position, he got checked out of it, and he never, ever went with any fluency after. They reached for the cheap pieces. They've got Tom Marquand on board. I've just got a sneaky feeling, massive time for the team, isn't it, with the big gun coming out? So Just Hubert would be a timely warm-up before Pile Driver and his date with Destiny next weekend. I think he's an each-way player.
There's no issue with him staying, is there? He's one of a 2.5 good. I backed him in the Northumberland Plate, and he got knocked back early, and then obviously he was out at the back, wasn't he? But that's where Nicholas T, the winner, came from as well. So there's a couple of ways of looking at him. He is a horse that I do have a lot of time for. It's a yard I have a lot of time for as well. And I just got that theory. You're not hit the nail on the head with Rodrigo Diaz. I thought 1.75 miles, very impressive. I thought he might improve for the trip. And you know Spencer isn't going to move a muscle until the end of the last furlong if he's banned there in contention. You're right. You know exactly what you're going to get on him, don't you?
Yeah, he'll be sort of played late. I wanted to give Mancini a chance. I thought he ran a cracker. Call My Bluff is looking for the 3-timer, but taking a significant rise up the ladder, winning a couple of Class 5s and a Class 5 and a Class 4. Mildenberger, no show last time. Global Heat pulled up. Sleeping Lion, big player if he settles, but is an absolute nightmare. Doesn't drop the bridle in the early stages. Yeah, so Rodrigo Diaz will be flying through late. Will he get there? Just Hubert, cheap pieces on. Tom Marquand, as we were just discussing there, he was knocked over early, and the type who just never went with any fluency after that. He seemed to sulk maybe a little bit. I think he's a player in here. Marquand could be a good day for him.
Could well be, yeah. From the stayers, though, to the sprinters in the Hackwood Stakes, the Group 3, 3 o'clock. A small but select field. Kings Lynn, not once, but twice ran admirably at Royal Ascot. Tabdi, last year's winner in here. I think there could be a little bit of a turn-up in here. I think that the favourites are there to be shot at. What do you fancy, though, in the Hackwood?
Yeah, I think you're right. Kings Lynn, it's the best form coming in, isn't it? Third to Oxford and running up close behind Rohan. Royal Commando did as a favourite Doncaster. A little bit disappointed in the Diamond Jubilee, comes down in grade. Royal Crusade lapped behind Glorious Journey. Tabdeed has had the same preparation. He ran in the Chip Chase last year. He ran in the Chip Chase last year and then came on and won this. And then he's done a similar sort of thing, running up in Newcastle and coming back here. Diligent Harry will go flat to the boards. Or if they try and hold on to him, it's going to be an absolute nightmare, isn't it? Because they've lit him up last time. Happy Romance ran a cracker in the Coral Charge. I'm going to give him one last roll of the dice, Method. Sean Levy was on board in the July Cup, fell out of the gates, never got into it, never got competitive after. He's won here in a similarly small field, course and distance form. We haven't seen the best of him. He is a huge price. I know that he was much, much bigger, and then he's been nibbled in a little bit. Nightmare that there's only 7 runners, but I just think Tom Marquand, I said he might have a good time of it. Just Hubert goes in for the stayers, and then Method comes to claim the prize late on in the day, provided they go a strong gallop.
Yeah, he was interesting on that. I'd say that start at Haydock, isn't he? I mean, Royal Commando did do us a favour, as you mentioned, in the Doncaster, in the Cambridge Trophy, and I thought that one was interesting if you know his last run. And I won't give up on Royal Crusade. I watched that race last time. He's banged there 2 out. He's come to win his race, and he's just weak and really tame. I thought he might build on that. Buick back on board as well and dropped in trip. I thought he was a half interesting at a price.
Well, the thing you can say about Royal Crusade, the thing about him, go back to his form. He beat Glen Shiel in a Group 3 last year over in France. That's absolutely rock solid form. And maybe the run was needed off his return when he's sort of mixing it with the best sprinters, wasn't he, over in Dubai, Extravagant Kid and the likes. That form is rock solid, isn't it? Of course, he chased home Oxted previously. So if you've got a line through that, you're bringing him into the equation. But it's 21 days since a bit of a no-show when he was quietly fancied last time. So, yeah, but it's open, isn't it? It's a lot more open than the market would suggest.
And that's exactly, yeah, that's why I'd probably say small stakes on a couple of outsiders at the price of the favourites there to be shot at. For me, though, it's role reversal in the Super Sprint because although we've got a big field of 22, I think you can narrow this one down. Certainly on the figures, it's the Chipotle, the Royal Ascot winner, and Vintage Clarets, who's third in the Coventry form that hasn't really worked out at present. And this Richard Hannanyard got to farm this race, haven't they? They've won it 10 times between senior and junior. They've got this Gubas, who clearly must have had a setback, not been seen since early April.
Yeah, I spoke to Sean Levy the day after he'd won on Gubas at Leicester. And I said, but, early season 2-year-old or a good type, where are we going? He went, definitely Royal Ascot material. So there's obviously been something that has kept him off the track. 2 horses, you mentioned them, Vintage Clarets, Chipotle, they both absolutely stand out on official ratings. I mean, surely they're going to be impossible. What special offers have you got? How many are you paying each way in this particular contest? 22 going to post.
I think we're going to be 4 or 5. There will definitely be extra places on the race, that's for sure.
So, look, you get the 4, possibly 5. In that scenario, there's got to be something lurking in here. I found a horse. I think he's an absolute good thing in a nursery off the ratings that he's got. But what do? There's, a massive pot on offer. You got to go and ruin that handicap mark, aren't you? Adnan is a really nice type. Patrick Owens, well-travelled trainer. Not many people would know him. He's been Australia, America. He was assistant at Luca Kamani's for a while. He's got 1 or 2 decent horses. He's only got a limited small field. This ran an absolute cracker on the wrong side at Yarmouth again the other day. Never nearer, staying on. The minimum's absolutely fine. He'll be forgotten about from the low numbers. We've only got Gilded down the bottom, who's likely to go flat out from stall 2. Get a nice toe off him. If he's good enough, we'll find out, to get a little slice of the pie. You've got to stick. Chipotle will win, won't he? Surely. I mean, David Probert on board, Sonic, as he's affectionately known, because Charlie Bishop is suspended at the moment. He's the best 5 furlong horse in the lineup, isn't he? I know you can make a case for Vintage Clarets, and is the Coventry form a little bit stronger? But back down to the minimum, he could easily be way, way better than these, and we know what's going to fill the places. Or we get the 4th and 5th, something at about 100 to 1, Adnan each way.
Yeah, 4 places. Adnan around about 66.80 is well worth, say, a couple of quid each way. I'm not going to desert Chipotle. He did us a good turn at Royal Ascot, a nice big price. He's already beaten Vintage Claret in the Brocklesby as well, so I'm not going to desert him. As you say, between the 2, they've got pounds in hand. Gubas is, though, the unknown quantity in the Super Sprint for the Hannans. You've got 6 in there bidding to win it for an 11th time. Right, we've looked at 5 races then. What's your idea of the best bet? Is there anything else? It's a small field, the nature of the day at Newmarket as well. So anything else around about or something we've just discovered?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to give him one last roll of the dice. I saw him in the flesh at the July meeting. He looked a picture. He's bound to tighten up a little bit. It's only his third start of the year. Method, we haven't seen the best of him yet. I'll be fascinated to see what the ground conditions are like, because it was lively enough at Newmarket, a little bit moisture in it down at Newbury at the moment. I think that could be okay. Method rates a big player. And one, excuse me, it's not COVID, one from left field that you're like, Market Rasen, Wicked West, going for the 3-timer, bought by the new team, Dr. Richard Newland, Sam Twiston on board. He's absolutely bolted up the last twice. 130 could underestimate him. That's in the handicap hurdle, the 5+2. He'd give you a good run for your money, Wicked West. Method, though, on the flat.
There you are then. Method then for Jason. Dipping his hand into the jumps, and that's what I'm going to look at next at Market Rasen. And I'm going to take on Wicked West, but worth a bet for Jason, that is for sure. Well, thanks, Jason, for joining us. Let's look ahead then to that summer jumping action in Lincolnshire. So as well as the classic action at the Curragh and the flat at Newbury, we've got some summer jumping racing to look forward to at Market Rasen as well, with the summer plate, the summer hurdle, the features. And the first of those at 205 is the summer hurdle, over 2 miles, where Cam Prond will be quite popular for punters. An easy winner over course distance, 1-14 last time we saw him. Prior to that, though, he chased home at a respectable distance Coppless, the very fast improving Coppless, in the Swinton hurdle at Haydock, and was second in a conditional jockeys race at the Ancient Grand National Festival as well. So he's an upward curve, Cam Prond. Interesting connections. Decided to send him here for a little school around the Lincolnshire track last time out. So obviously this being the target. Hooper, what a run he has been on for Nicky Henderson and young Ben French Davis on a 6-timer, including a couple of wins at Stratford the last twice. The handicap is nightmare, really, because he doesn't win by very far, but this certainly asks more of him off a £7 higher mark than for his latest win 4.5 weeks ago. Emma Lavelle saddles a couple, and interesting, both owned by the same person as well in Tim Sider. He's got hanging there the top weight who won a Supreme Novices trial a couple of years ago as a youngster, and this one finally got his head in front. I thought he was a well handicapped horse. I was quite sweet in his chances in the Imperial Cup early on in the season when he was taken out. I was not running that on account of the ground, but he got his head in front at Stratford last time out. This is a much better race, though. He's got 12 stone 1 on his back under a penalty, though Joe Anderson does claim a very valuable £10 inexperienced pilot, but that also keeps Voice of Calm's weight down as well, as they for the same connections. A good winner at Cartmel last time on just his 4th start over hurdles, a fair third in novice company at Kempton as well. He beat a course specialist at Cartmel last time out, and I think he's the one to side with here. Voice of Calm. He's £9 high, but there's no way we've seen the best of him yet, and I think he's a big player in the summer hurdle. Voice of Calm then for me. Wicked West on a hat-trick for Dr. Newland. Don't discount him either. Fergal O'Brien's got Valentino Dancer, who comes in on the back of a recent success at Kelso. And the former Fergal O'Brien train, Mrs. Hyde, is of interest as well. Don't forget she beat Vidana Blue earlier on last season, and tried to get a bit of flat black type with her. Didn't work out at Newmarket last time out, but she's back over hurdles. It looks a decent, looks a big price as well each way, although the handicapper may be, she may be in the grip of the handicapper, Mrs. Hyde. So it's Voice of Calm for me in the summer hurdle at 205. Move on to the summer plate then at 240 in a wide open handicap chase. But I think the market's got this one spot on with Captain Tomcat of Dr. Newland and Sam Twiston Davis. So won this event, teamed up to win this event 8 years ago. This pair. Captain Tomcat had 3 spins over fences. He's not seen another rival in small fields at Aintree, then twice at Worcester, scooting around, making all and winning as he liked. Okay, this certainly asks a lot more of him. Looks like he was a useful hurdle. Looks like he's going to make him into a much better chaser here this afternoon. There's a little bit of competition for the lead. That said, Lord Brian likes to go forward, as does Mercy and Prince, but they're the only two other pace angles, and doesn't have to lead. Captain Tomcat can track the pace like he did over hurdles. Plenty of these like to be held up, so I don't think it'd be a frenetic gallop, and I think he'd be finely placed, and it'd be really hard to keep out of the shake-up. So I think Captain Tomcat is the one to be on for the summer place. By far a one-horse race, though. Darling Maltax goes for Paul Nichols. He's a recent winner of this race as well. Darling Maltax winner at Newton Abbott last time out, but this certainly asks more of him. Frankie de Belay, when you think of summer chases, you think of Peter Bowen. He saddles 2 here. He's got his son James on Frankie de Belay, who was a good winner at Uttoxeter, the Lady Clark Cup a couple of starts ago, and then ran 3rd at Cartmel, where we last saw him. And also the other front runner I mentioned, Lord Brian, who warmed up for this with a course and distance win 4 weeks ago. His other son Sean, is on board Lord Brian for this. I've only got 10 stone on his back as well. He beat another course specialist in Ballyholme, Fergal O'Brien's here at Market Rasen 4 weeks ago. So he's of interest. He'll take them along. I think he could certainly be battling out at the end. And a big price, got to keep an eye on Pink Eye Pedro as well. He was second in the Topham at Aintree. Then Seated Rider was slim with a shout at Newton Abbott following that. Certainly was in there when capitulating 2 out. And then ran fourth behind Frankie de Billet that he talked to last time out. Paddy Brennan comes in to ride Pink Eye Pedro. I thought he was interesting, around about 12-14 to 1 each way. Certainly be giving him a chance. But I think the favourite, Captain Tomcat, will be very hard to beat. The final race in front of the ITV cameras at Lincolnshire, in the Lincolnshire venue this weekend, is a 3 mile, or nearest damn it 3 mile handicap hurdle. And again, I think the market has got this one spot on because they made Giovanni Change a favourite. And here's the third at Aintree. Over hurdles back in May, looks really good right now. Prashima was your winner of the Skeltons for Dan and Harry Skelton. Sebastopol was in second. He's been runner-up since as well. The fourth home, Ash Paddington, has also finished second subsequently. There's other winners further back as well. Black Mischief has come out of this race and subsequently scored as well. So Giovanni Change ran, had a little pipe opener at Catterick in a maiden recently of 1.5 miles. That would have been far enough. And he is a course and distance, a very impressive course and distance winner back in April as well. In fact, he's finished third and won twice in his 3 starts at Market Rasen. This looks like it's been a target for Mark Walford. It could be a big day for him in front of the ITV camera. So Giovanni Change, I think, can give weight and a beating all around in the 3:10. Taste the Fear goes for Dr. Neil and Sam Twist and Davis. Could be a good day for them. They've got plenty of chances at this meeting that no doubt the trainer will target. Second over the strip at Worcester last time out after winning at Uttoxeter over nearly 3 miles of time before. He's going to be dangerous. The Distant Lady and Breaking Weights. The Distant Lady and Ask Henry come from the same stable of Graham McPherson. The Distant Lady was a winner last time out at Newton Abbott. But I think of those pair, maybe Ask Henry could be the one to be able to a decent stayer, a very consistent stayer for Graham McPherson. Wasn't beaten far at Uttoxeter in a good race last time out. Again, that brings in the Sebastopol form. He was second in that contest. So on a line through him, he's quite closely matched with Giovanni Change. But I do think Giovanni Change, the top weight, and the likely favourite, is the one to be on in that 3:10. So thanks to Jason Weaver then for joining us. He had a look at Newbury and the classic contest, the Irish Oaks over at the Curragh Snowfall. Very, very short with for that one to follow up Epsom victory. We've got jumps at Market Rasen to look forward to as well. A little bit quieter than we had last Saturday for Super Saturday. So we've got 8 races to look forward to for the ITV cameras there. Whatever you're back in this weekend, the very best luck. And as always, please gamble responsibly.